Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today from Bandai Namco in the Dragon Stars line, we are featuring Dragon Ball Super, Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. Alright, so we have Gogeta here, excellent looking figure. The one thing that really caught my eye is that I think of all the figures I've handled in the Dragon Stars collection, this probably has some of the richest color in terms of the flesh tone. It's very unusual because it's almost like they applied some gradation and some shading to it to really bring out the musculature, and it really makes a big difference in terms of the presentation of the figure. This isn't something I've seen too often, if ever, in the Dragon Stars line, and I think it looks fantastic. Beautiful character artwork on the side. Some other figures available. We have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. We're looking at Gogeta now. We have Majin Buu Final Form. We have Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, which I've reviewed. Wonderful figure. That one's amazing. We have Brawly, the Super version, and then we have Android 18. Alright, let's get started. So, I've said this before, but I love the Dragon Stars line, but it's always such a mixed bag in terms of the results. Sometimes the quality control isn't the greatest, and the figures kind of just flop apart. Sometimes the joints are too loose, sometimes they're too tight, sometimes the colors don't match accurately, like, you know, the arms might not match the torso. So it's just kind of a mixed bag. You know, I like the figures a lot. And sometimes I'm kind of curious, you know, if it's more so just my affection for Dragon Ball that makes me overlook a lot of the shortcomings and flaws of the figures. Alright, so we have Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta here. Excuse me. We have Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta here. I kind of lost my voice for a second. Like I pointed out, the flesh tone is incredibly detailed compared to other figures. For whatever reason, they applied like a gradation to it, so there's some highlighting and some shadows to it. It's really impressive. It really brings out the figure and takes it up a notch. We get the extra pair of hands, and like I've said in other videos, I prefer the open palms as opposed to the fists. For me, they're a little bit more expressive, and they're much more synonymous with, like, you know, the energy blast that the characters are always doing in the cartoons. Just swap the hands out real quick. Some of these hands are very difficult to like put on also, and it's kind of a painful process. As you can see, it kind of like leaves indents on my finger because you have to apply a lot of force to get these on. Getting them off is easy. Putting on the new hands is difficult. There you go. The one thing I love about Gogeta, especially Super Saiyan Blue, is that the hair, the sculpt is really wild. In some ways, it's kind of different than some of the other Super Saiyans just because there's a certain flow to it and curvature. And the blue hair always kind of reminds me of Sonic the Hedgehog. And again, I can't stress it enough. I don't know what they decided to do for this figure, or why they chose this figure as opposed to others, but, you know, let me take the vest off. The vest does come off on some of these figures also. As you can see, there's a slit on the side so you can remove them. But the flesh tone here, it's incredibly well done. Let me grab another figure just so I could compare it. I'm very surprised about this. Alright, over here we have Ultra Instinct Goku Sign. And you can see what I'm talking about. You know, it's like a completely different level of figure here. You know, this with all the shading. You know, there's not model kits, there's Dragon Ball statues that have such a much more premium finish, and they'll do effects like this in terms of the paint application, and it really presents and creates such a much more premium product. Like, I would love if they recreated this kind of shading and, you know, tone for like the standard figures, because it really does make a difference. It takes something from being a plain toy to almost something that borderlines on collectible. So it's, I don't know, this is a really standout figure. And let's get his vest back on. Or not. It's kind of... Alright, this should go on a little bit easier. There you go. Alright, so we have Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta. The face is well done. He kind of has that scowl. Very angstful looking character. In terms of articulation, his head rotates. Arms move and they go outward. Swivel at the waist. Double pinned elbows, articulated wrists. I kind of wish they'd update the legs. You know, I kind of wish they'd have at least a thigh cut here with a thigh swivel. One of the annoying things with these figures is that when they can't kick up straight. You know, they always kick out to the side. And if they had like a thigh cut, you'd be able to swivel it around. There is some sort of swivel here, but it's not an ideal situation. It's kind of clumsy. And then, you know, if you've handled these figures, you know, the hip assembly is kind of awkward. You know, it's kind of done this way so you could kind of think you could get more articulation out of it, but in some ways it kind of hinders it, in my opinion. And the joints aren't always that tight, or like here it's incredibly loose, a little bit too loose. And on some figures it's too tight. So there's always that kind of inconsistency. Like this swivel here is a lot tighter than this one here. This one's like, I don't know, it's like loosey-goosey. Visually, this figure is like flawless. I think this looks amazing. On a scale of 1 to 10 overall, I think this figure is a solid 8.5. At least with my figure, the only thing holding it back from being a 9 is that, you know, the joints here are kind of loose, and it's kind of bothersome. But otherwise, the figure is great. I think this figure is definitely a must purchase. And there is, if you just want Gogeta with the, you know, the golden hair, there is a Super Saiyan Gogeta figure that's available as a solo, and there's also a 2-pack. The 2-pack comes with Janemba, and the 2-pack one is Super Saiyan Gogeta, and it's Gogeta, you know, he has the halo above his head. And the cool thing with that figure in the 2-pack is that his left palm has the Stardust Breaker orb in it, and it's really cool. I dig it a lot, and that's a Target exclusive. So be on the lookout for that if that interests you. It comes with Janemba and Super Saiyan Gogeta. And yeah, so fun figure. Visually amazing to look at. I think this figure really, you know, levels up, you know, the Dragon Star line in terms of the paint presentation. I do wish that they would improve the legs a little bit. You know, we've seen some improvements on some figures, like the bodies they've been using on Goku lately is a much larger improvement than the ones they've used in the earlier waves. All right, with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.